So we got some interesting news going on right now. Naoya Inoue was supposed to fight Akhmadaliev on in September, around September 9th. He is a guy who was a #1 contender for the WBA. He's a former Unified 122 champion. Right now, he's basically the top guy who's the best that's available for Inoue. Even though he lost to a guy that Inoue just beat recently, it feels like they want to go with another contender. TJ Doheny. He's 26-4 with 20 knockouts. I'm hearing that Doheny is a bigger draw, and that's the reason why they're starting to change course. They feel like Akhmadaliev is not a big enough draw for in Japan. They want to have something close to what Neri did because they want to have the same kind of atmosphere, and they want to have somebody who's notable. And with Aram, he said worst comes to worst. Anyway, lose the title, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Because they have some other things set up down the line. But the people of Akhmadaliev is basically having some issues as far as who they're gonna fight, because they're looking at Turkey Al-Sheikh situation with a card coming up with him soon. And basically right now they say, I guess another opponent with 4 losses on Inoue's record makes more sense. It's not about mandatories, it's about fighting the best. Inoue should be fighting Akhmadaliev and guys like him, as he wants to be remembered as the greatest, as an unbeaten, 4-division champion. That'll be the way to go. He said that's why all these featherweight title fights coming up are so important. Well, Bob Arum said this. That's why all these featherweight fights coming up are so important, because a lot of these guys, if you go in there with Inoue, that's a big money on the table. And right now, Bob Arum mentioned those things. He also says that, which I knew months ago, I was going to announce that, but I just held on to it. But it looks like Inoue is going to be going to featherweight in the year of 2025. So after this year, he's going to make his mark in featherweight division next year. So all the guys that's at featherweight right now, we're going to see them compete. And that's a whole nother thing. I'll probably put the some information about that on the member page, but right now, it looks like Inoue is going to be facing off against some featherweights next year. So whoever's at featherweight, whoever can hold on to a featherweight belt right now, that's going to be your competition. So if it's Espinoza, Nick Ball right now, we still got Vargas. It's a lot of things going on. We got a couple of other guys still in contention. Things could change between now and then. You can have more featherweights that's competing, but they're trying to focus on right now the Inoue's next fight, and they feel like TJ Doheny is a bigger draw, and that matters, because right now Inoue's promoters have no intention of placing him on a card in London in September, and they also say that a Goodman fight could happen in Japan. So right now, a lot of things that people aren't really thinking about, but could actually happen. So from what I've seen on the outside looking in, man, that's definitely something he needs to look forward to, especially with the September fight coming up between Ray Vargas and Brandon Figueroa. I know a lot of people was mentioning Figueroa possibly still being someone who could fight Inoue. So if Figueroa can get past Ray Vargas, he can definitely make some things happen against Inoue. He'll be able to jump in the ring and be a contender. But right now they're trying to figure out if the Doheny and fight will happen instead of the Akhmadaliev. I didn't hear too much about the Akhmadaliev fight. It's not really a lot of buzz around it. But like someone said, Akhmadaliev has 3 top 10 wins against the #1 guy, #4 guy. So, different things happen. But overall, I think it's going to be a good fight. Because either way, I'm not really 122 only has so much that you can actually do at that weight class. We have other guys who's contenders, but it's only so much you can do. eventually he's gonna go up to 126, and that's gonna be a big fight at any of those weight classes above 126, 126, 130, but 126 is where it gets more competitive, and I think that's where a lot of people are looking forward to, just competitive fights. That's all people want to see, is just competitive fights and not too much bragging rights or anything else, but they want to make it as far as they can, as far as having a big name. And if somebody can beat Inoue in the ring right now, you'll have a big name. But if you can't get past him and you're still trying to struggle, you're not gonna have a big name at all. You're gonna be forgotten. So a lot of guys who's lost to him, they're gonna be forgotten. They're not gonna have a bigger name just because they lost to him or anything like that. So you gotta go in there and actually compete, or you're just gonna be another guy that got knocked out. The only thing about Luis Neri is he dropped him. But from what I've seen on the outside looking in, a lot of people don't really pay attention to that fight overall, or how the knockout happened and things like that. So it's not like a lot of attention on it. If it was, we would have heard a little bit of criticism, but I guess he's still working his way up towards that. But that's all I got, man. Like and subscribe.